Hello, this is literally Majora. You can call me Majora if you want, but my real name is Benny. So, before we get anywhere into this video, I wanted to say that this is my second take recording it, and, some spooky things happened. I got about 9 minutes into the video, and, my phone had a meltdown after I said that Satanism was scary. So that's fun. Basically, I mentioned the subject of this video being related to Satanism a lot, and, my phone crashed. This is Future Benny with, update number 2. Not only did my phone crash, when I tried to recount what happened on Twitter refused to let me post the tweets that I had typed out. It let me save them as drafts, but I was not allowed to tweet them. I don't know why. This is the final How This Thing Changed My Life for the month of October, and it's about the Harry Potter franchise. And I'm still sick, so excuse my voice. If you're watching this on the day that it was uploaded, happy Halloween. I'm probably handing out candy to children while dressed as a fairy as we speak. Yep, I am a dark fairy for Halloween this year, and I spent all year working on it, and I love it. So, Harry Potter. Most millennials and centennials, which, by the way, is a cool other name I learned for Gen Z, which I greatly prefer. Centennials sounds so much cooler. Anyway, most of those two generations have at least seen a couple Harry Potter movies, if not seen all of them, and if not, having read the books. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? Come on, it's, such an important part of, pop culture at this point. Please! Growing up, I had two close friends that were actually siblings. Usually when I talk about my childhood best friend in a video, I'm talking about one of them or both of them. So to avoid any further confusion, from now on, I'm gonna be calling my best friends from when I was little Harry and Hermione. Wait, does that make me Ron? I have red hair. Does that make me Ron? Really, if we were gonna be 3 Hogwarts students, shouldn't we be Malfoy, Blaise, and Pansy? Because I am the most Slytherin to ever Slytherin. More on that later. But yeah, for future videos where I talk about one of those people, I'm gonna say Harry or Hermione, except for the one that's going up on Monday, because I actually recorded it in September. Oops, sorry. But if you're wondering, that's about Hermione. Back on topic, Harry and my mom, oddly enough, both got super into the Harry Potter books at about the same time, right when they were first coming out, I guess. I don't know, I was kind of too little to remember the very beginning, so. My mom bought all of the books and the 3 short books, Hogwarts: A History, Quidditch Through the Ages, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So I grew up having the books in my house, very accessible and easy to read. Me, Harry, and Hermione, all 3 had Gryffindor robes, even though I'm pretty sure not a one of us is Gryffindor, but anyway. We all had Gryffindor robes, and we would roleplay as, you guessed it, Harry and Hermione, and I was Ginny! Not Ron. I should have been Ron. Sometimes we could convince their other brother to be Ron, but he was a sports kid, so that didn't happen often. So my mom had all the books, but she was no match for Harry when it came to being a superfan. He had both the original British English editions of the books, so he had the Philosopher's Stone, and he also had the American English versions. And then on top of that, he had, obviously, multiple sets of Gryffindor robes. He had everybody's replica wands, so McGonagall, Mad-Eye Moody, everybody's wand. It was so cool. I personally liked using McGonagall's wand, even though I was supposed to be Ginny. He had every Harry Potter Lego set ever made. He had a Sorcerer's Stone in a little glass case, which was really cool. He had a Snitch. He had a Marauder's Map. He had a Time Turner, and not the one that you can get now at Hot Topic. This one was better quality. And he had quill sets that we wrote with that I sucked at writing with. He was the Harry Potter authority in the town that we grew up in. So every day after school for 15 years, I'm not exaggerating at all, I would go to his house and we would go into the creepy back bedroom that I talked about on Monday. And we would play with all the Harry Potter Lego sets, and we would pretend to be Harry and Ginny, which now that I think about it, did that indicate some romantic interest that I was forced to be Ginny? Shit! We even took all of the Hogwarts sets that he had and sort of like arranged them into our own little castle thingy, and then we had pieces that were dedicated to be ours. So like, I was a combination of Umbridge's clothes and hair with Hermione's face, because I wanted to be smiling and nice, but I also wanted to have short hair and pink clothes, because I had short hair and pink clothes. He was much simpler, obviously. He was just a hairy Lego. Like, that was super easy, and he even has, like, the right hair color and everything, so... In middle school, we decided we needed Horcruxes so we could live forever. And no, we did not murder anyone or, like, hurt small animals to try to split our souls. We just came up with our own little dumb spell, because we were nerds, that we said would split our souls. So, this spell, it had to be said in this little, like, ritual that we did, where we made a hula hoop into a pentacle. So it was a hula hoop for the outside, and then a string in the shape of a star. And then we poured salt around the outside, and then we wanted our Horcruxes to match Voldemort's for some reason. So we had a Beanie Buddy snake, which was missing an eye. We had a sparkly holographic pink diary, which was mine. We had a heart-shaped locket, again, mine. We had a mood ring, mine. We had a plastic tiara that we turned upside down to look like the diadem. It was the best we could do. We had like a toy chalice thing, like a King Arthur-y looking cup, and we had, for our final Horcruxes, because you know the final Horcrux was Harry, we had each other. So the idea was that we would each split off part of our soul and put it into each item, so it served as a Horcrux for both of us. And then the last part we did was splitting off part of our soul and putting it in each other. Yeah. So if you live in the American South like me, or if you don't, you might still already know that the Harry Potter books and movies were met with a little bit of backlash from religious communities for encouraging children to do, like, satanic rituals. I don't know where they got that idea. I totally know where they got that idea. But when I was in school, I was kind of shunned for being the one lone kid that was allowed to read the Harry Potter books. Yeah. The other kids were, like, jealous because they couldn't read them. Their parents didn't like me, and then their parents didn't like my parents because my parents let me read the horrible satanic Harry Potter books. Bah! Come on. It's a book series about an orphaned, abused child overcoming hatred and evil through love and happiness. What about that is satanic? I have friends that to this day haven't read the Harry Potter books because they weren't allowed to as kids. I also have friends that weren't allowed to read them as kids, but the second they were old enough to make that decision for themselves, went out and bought every single book. So it kind of goes both ways. Sometimes the parents got what they wanted and protected their sweet, innocent little children, and sometimes they were overprotective and their kids immediately wanted to do the thing that they weren't allowed to do. I also know a lot of pastors' children who absolutely adore the Harry Potter series, and their parents are perfectly fine with it, and they're pastors. Like, come on. I know that Satanism is real, and it can be a very scary thing, but these books are not that. We have now crossed into the part of the video where it crashed before. Wish me luck. I didn't get to record this part, so hopefully we can finish it. So we're pretty far into this video, and you get the general idea that the Harry Potter franchise brought me a lot of joy. It was something that I enjoyed with my friends that brought us closer together, but it was also something that made my life kind of difficult when it came to going to school. And now I want to tell you something else. This is kind of a coming out video. No, not that kind of coming out video. I'm a witch. have some awkward silence there for a second. I would have never thought that being a witch was something that was okay to be if it weren't for the Harry Potter franchise. If it weren't for seeing witchcraft represented in a way that was positive and happy, and look at this cute little family that loves each other, you know what I mean? It kind of seems like it was this inevitable thing for me, that eventually I was going to crack and be like, okay, I guess I just, like, have to be a witch now. But I don't know, maybe if I hadn't seen witches and wizards portrayed positively, that wouldn't have happened. And if you want me to throw you for a loop and give you some confusing concepts to think about, not only am I a witch, I still believe in God, like the Christian God, that one. I go to church, I work with children. So, I'm trans, I'm a witch, I'm a Christian. Reconcile those three things in your head, please. And that 100% is a video that's gonna happen. I just want to take my time planning it and putting my opinions into good words that make sense, you know? I don't want it to be jumbled up, kind of like my typical video. I want it to be something that I write out and then rewrite, you know? So that I can get it all exactly the way I want it. I'm actually kind of surprised at the number of witches around me. I didn't think there were that many, but there's one in my family. Well, two technically, and that's not counting me. But there's a couple in my family. I have multiple close friends now who are witches. It just popped up out of nowhere. Hey, guess what? Everybody's a witch. It was kind of cool. Finding out how many other witches there were around me was like confirmation that it was okay and that I would have support if I needed it. So that is how the Harry Potter franchise changed my life. It's become something that's just ingrained in who I am as a person and how I communicate with people and understand others. I don't really get Myers-Briggs personality tests, but, you know, if you tell me your Hogwarts house, I'll understand who you are as a person. To kind of wrap this up, I wanted to share with you my story of how I ended up in Slytherin, because I wasn't always a Slytherin. Almost every test I ever took, the one on the Pottermore website, the BuzzFeed one that's the Pottermore questions, like, every single one has told me that I was a Hufflepuff, which I was fine with. Hufflepuff is awesome. But then, when I decided what name I wanted to go by now, which is Benny, I decided to make a new Pottermore account under that name. And I thought, hey, why not take the Sorting Hat quiz again? And then suddenly, I get to the end, and I am not faced with my typical Hufflepuff yellow that I know and love. No. It put me in Slytherin, which I actually always wanted to be in Slytherin. But I always got Hufflepuff, and I had accepted that I was a Hufflepuff, but, you know, people grow and change, so I guess I'm just a Slytherin now. And if I went to the trouble of going through my Snapchat memories to find these, I have my exact reaction on the screen for you right now, I think. I also took the Patronus quiz, and that's why I say I'm the most Slytherin to ever Slytherin, because my Patronus is a snake. It's a black mamba. That's literally the most Slytherin thing I've ever heard in my life. So, I'm genuinely curious. Let me know in the comments what house you're in, and then I really, really want to know, has anybody else's house changed like that? Because I was Hufflepuff for like 10 years, and now I'm a Slytherin. Like, I don't know what happened, but I'm fine with it. I love Slytherin. So my next videos coming up are Fridays, How This Thing Changed My Life, which I'm not going to say what it's about, but it's a big one that I was kind of trying to save. I don't know why, but I figured this is a subject that's about to be talked about a lot, so I might as well go for it. And then Monday, the one I pre-recorded in September, on accident, I forgot that I was doing the Halloween thing, and then I had this extra video recorded, and I was like, well, I guess this is going to be my first video of November. But it's about stealing video games from friends, and I keep repeatedly just saying my friend, but I'm talking about Hermione in that video, so that'll be fun. Thanks for listening. Bye.